A lot of people know me as a person who is absolutely in love with singing, production, and helping people become the best vocalists they can be. But what a lot of people do not know is that that journey started a long time ago when I was unable to speak. I have central auditory processing disorder, which basically means both wires going in and out of my brain with regard to speaking in language get a little crossed sometimes, and I misspeak and I mishear a lot. Speech therapy and occupational therapy have helped me a lot, but it's still a really big challenge sometimes. The way anybody knew that I wasn't profoundly unable to speak was when I was about 2 or 3 years old. My mom came into the living room. I was watching Annie, and I was singing Tomorrow in my diapers. So everybody likes to say, I learned to sing before I learned to speak. It's literally true in my case. And since then, singing, being part of a group, collaborating with others has been the source of escape, validation, and my self-confidence to this day. There was a time there for about 5 to 6 years where I was not taking voice lessons. I was sort of phoning it in with my singing until my best friend had asked for a Mozart concert aria for her wedding, a very difficult one. So I had to go back into voice lessons after so long, and my life changed from there. At the time, I was also struggling a lot in my personal life. I had a partner in life who did not value me as a musician and for all of the things that I truly was. When I stepped back into voice lessons, I started to feel like myself again. I started to feel my own value again. My ex-husband and I filed for separation later on that year. The decision mostly being mine, because as good and decent of a man as he was, we shared very, very different values in our lives. Immediately following my separation, I got caught up in a very toxic and emotionally abusive relationship. But then I found the Twitch Sings community, and the combination of singing, expressing myself, collaborating with other singers, getting to hang out with people who shared my values completely transformed my world. The game may be gone, but the community is still here. It wasn't always the prettiest experience, but I'll never forget the friends I've met. I also now have someone in my life who sees every facet of me and doesn't judge, but instead takes me by the hand and walks with me through it. And I would not have any of this. Friends like Zamoody, Eldurrino, Renara Hawke, and my best friend in the whole world, Brian, if it wasn't for this community. I love you all, and thank you for supporting me these past few years. Let's have an amazing podcast.
That was touching. Good Lord.
We love you too.
That was amazing. Pashley, thank you so much for talking about that. Hello and welcome everyone to Cold Read the Podcast, a podcast by voice actors for voice actors. This week's intro was done by Pashley, if you couldn't tell. Following suit with the whole explaining how they got into the entertainment field, and wow, that was interesting. I've known you for quite some time, Pashley, and I now learned some new things about you. So that was that was incredible. Thank you so much for sharing all that.
Thank you for sharing, Pash.
I thank all of you for being here today. Today's guest is Jef Leeson, a very experienced voice actor and entertainer overall. And we'll be getting to him in just a quick moment here, but as we do every week, we're going to do our check-ins, and starting with Renara across the great old ocean thing.
Across the pond.
Renara, how has your week been?
Busy, tiring, sort of just getting there. I'm officially halfway through the amount of lines I need to do now. My main card for Skywind is currently in the final sort of checking process, so hopefully that will be done. I have been put on a sort of, they call it a retainer list for, hey, if we need you to do some more, we will ask you to do some more for other races. And I'm there going, oh, okay.
Boy.
Okay. They're wrapping it up almost. There's barely any roles left in Skyward now, and then they're going to release a new casting call for unique voices in the next few months. So if anyone's interested in that, bring your unique voices, something that's slightly different, sort of like Dramora and things like that, demoness sort of things. No, I've just been slogging it through and just going, and I had one of my friends over this week went, "You're doing 59s a day. That doesn't seem like a lot." And I'm there going, times that by 10 for each time I have to do it, and that's 500 a day almost. So I'm tired. I'm tired, but I'm keeping going. Basically, got a lot
Understandable.
more to do.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're keeping busy. That's never really a bad thing. I mean, it makes time go by quicker and keeps your brain active. So that's awesome. Thank you for being here. Pashley, how's the last week been for you?
I've been in a little bit of a 2-week lull at work because people are away and not messing with me. So it's been like, okay, I can be productive. And I did have some bad news about my car on Friday. Like, it's going to be a pretty expensive bill.
No.
Like, and some of these things are like unavoidable. Like, you have to replace your tires every now and then. And then there's like squeakiness that has to be repaired. And I feel like I'm in a holding pattern. I think that's the most difficult thing about COVID is like the holding pattern, because I don't know how like Luke's school's gonna go. I don't know how like my job's gonna go, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm like, okay, because I thought I was gonna buy a new car, like a hybrid or something that's easier to get around in the city with. Because I currently own a Ford Escape, but I'm like, I don't know if Luke's gonna hate this school. Like, there's so much up in the air, and if he hates school, then I don't know. I don't know if I want to invest in a car, a hybrid car.
Well, still, I mean, if you get something practical, it's not really a bad investment. I mean, cars are usually something you hang on to for many years. So
yeah, I've had this one for 7 years, so it's still kicking. So I don't know, if it starts squeaking again, then I'll just be like, fuck it, go get a hybrid car.
7 years is a pretty long time. I don't think I've had a car longer than 3, maybe. So, well, cool. I'm again glad that you're here. Zamoody, tell us about your week.
That's right. I go next now.
Indeed.
Yeah. So for the most part, I mean, the week's been super busy. Work's been busy. My wife's been working on reopening. It's like the last 3 weekends, there's always been something to do. And then on Thursday, when I wanted to come stream, my streaming computer had no internet. So, technical issues. Yeah. So I have a ghetto cable running right now, like through the hallway out here, not through the house like the others we would normally do. Did do a lot of auditions. Super happy about that. A lot of voices.com stuff. I had somebody reach out about a video game, and I sent that in. We're just going to see what happens with that. And these are the same people that did the Midnight Poppy Land web comic. It's the first one that I got, like, ever, one of my first ever voiceover jobs. Ton of fun there. Trying to remember. Somebody else reached out. I'm sure I'll bring that up later. Other than that, I mean, like I said today, I'm super distracted because I had to go to my wife's job. I spent like it's like an hour commute, 40 minutes there, and then an hour back just to make sure that I'm sitting here, because I'll make sure that you guys, we put out a show and we had a good guest, and yeah. So that's why Eldurrino, I appreciate you taking over the responsibilities of hosting today. So thank you so much.
Definitely, yeah. I'm glad that you're able to make it. I was a little concerned when you were starting to say that you were going to try and do things remotely, and I was like thinking, how's that going to happen? But no, glad you were able to make time. Glad you're here.
Thank you.
For me, last week was kind of nuts. I was not around last week, or rather I was. I just grew a very large beard and started speaking with an accent. But I was out. I had to go to my girlfriend's dad's birthday party. Great time. Prior to that, I went out disc golfing at a course that was really nice, very well maintained. Unfortunately, that was about the end of the excitement because somehow I came in contact with a little plant called poison sumac, which grows along riverbanks, and we played along a river, and so now I have a very nasty rash on my shoulder, which I will not be showing to anybody because it looks disgusting. So I've been dealing with that all week, doing my best not to itch it because obviously it's just going to make it worse. But otherwise, this week for me has been pretty decent. I got signed up on voices.com with they sent out a discount of $300 off your first year. So I was super excited about that. I was talking to my girlfriend about it, and she's like, well, you've been wanting it for quite a while now, and this discount is hard to pass up. So we decided that for my birthday, since that's coming up next week, that I'd go ahead and do that. So super excited to get started on that. Haven't really had time to delve into it as much as I would like to, just because of all the stuff that's been going on this week. So did that this weekend. And we celebrated my birthday a week early, so I went out to a Mongolian grill. Ooh. Got to stuff my face. It was amazing. Played more disc golf after that. Did not come in contact with another poison plant that I know of. Overall, very fun. I also got to build my girlfriend a new desk today, so that was great.
Oh yeah, it does look a little different in the background.
Yes, a little bit. Her computer's now on the floor, so it's not right over there. Yeah. Because the stand that I was on doesn't fit over there now. So yeah. In any case, thank you all again for being here. But now we move on to our guest for this week, Jef Leeson. Jef is a very experienced entertainer of 25 plus years. Jef, how are you doing today, my friend?
I could use more coffee, but I'm very thankful.
But didn't we all?
You folks have allowed me to sit in and basically get the grasp of how you all get along and communicate. Can I put it that way?
Yeah.
Communicate.
Like I said before the show even started, I need to start recording the pre-show and putting it up somewhere because we had the weirdest conversations before this started.
Yeah.
It would be fun reading just the closed captioning.
Right. Well, again, thank you for being here. I'm very excited to have you on. As of recently, we've been finding a lot of people who are newer to the voice acting community. So this is one of our first people that we've had on that is more experienced than all of us are. So
all of us even put together, stoked. I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
He's been doing it as long as I've been alive.
Don't say it that way.
Right. Which is just mind-boggling.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess
I don't know if I'd put it quite that way, Renara, but okay, all right. I'll accept time for what it was.
I feel like a baby right now.
I want to start off with asking you, what got you into the entertainment industry, whether it be voice acting, musicianship, audio production, any of that?
Mainly the drive to escape the real world.
Of course.
That's a mood. That's a fucking mood.
Once I decided to, yeah, there you go. Once I decided to act on that, which actually wasn't a very conscious decision. My first experiences with acting were musical theater. And, well, seeing as such, dating has already occurred. The first musical I was in was a workhouse boy in a public performance of Oliver.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
Yeah.
So it goes back that far, folks. If anybody wants to take a break and come back, at 1 minute to 4 o'clock, that'd be fine. That was during my public school years, and then in high school, what was the next sort of big one? Guys and Dolls.
Good show.
I've done
Harry
that.
the Horse.
Very good one.
That was a wonderful experience for me, actually, because by that time my parents had decided that to whatever degree they felt comfortable, they were going to support me with my drive to get into the arts in general. And my father scored the role of Big Julie. So we were basically partnered in the production, and we performed together.
Nice.
And for a personal yeah, wow, a lot of memories are coming back right now. The city was 40 minutes away, so we enjoyed, up close to an hour and a half of driving together to and from all the practices, which occurred over many weeks. And it was a 10-night performance. And I got to spend it with my dad. He played my boss in the play. And we were gangsters and had some feature songs. And by that time, I was absolutely hooked on whatever this stage thing is. I want to keep doing that. Around that time, too, I started meeting up with a lot of friends about writing and recording our own songs and getting into audio production. And then, good God, I'm really dragging this on, aren't
You're
I?
fine.
It's
You're
okay.
fine.
You're good.
Love it.
This is
Keep it going.
This is all dedicated to you. So as long as you want to speak, by all means, take it.
Not used to that.
The floor is yours.
And then in college, I joined a semi-professional acting troupe and had the lead role in No Sex Please, We're British.
Wow. I don't know what that's about, but
Wow.
I'm
I love the name.
intrigued.
Very, very intrigued. It was a wonderful satire and parody. And I also enjoyed some of the other backstage positions. I stage managed one show.
Yeah.
I did audio for another show. I joined the stage crew, basically making the sets and what have you.
Mhm.
So I got a really wonderful taste of, to the small degree that it was, a wonderful taste of the theater. And during that time, I was also starting to perform in bands, mostly cover bands of pop music, rock music, a bit of country music, and a variety of other types of bands. So I started teaching myself how to play and record some more.
Mhm.
I had started back in my high school days with some friends. And then after I graduated with a diploma that I ended up never using.
Of course.
Yep.
Feel that too?
Yeah, that was television production, and I really enjoyed video and editing,
I feel very
all
good
kinds of things. Is that right?
I did film and television production as well as my major, so I'm like, yay! Sorry, don't mind me.
Yay! I absolutely fell in love with the technology and the creativity, and unfortunately, in small towns, the only career that really was available for me was like a cameraman.
Oh.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
after realizing, well, I like this stage thing still, so I decided to chase after music as well as continue writing and creating my own recording studio and all that aspect of audio editing and creation and production.
Mhm.
So I guess to keep it really succinct, I ended up performing as a career a few years. No offense, Renara.
It's fine. It's fine.
During that time, I was able to continue building up my studio and then started producing albums for a variety of acts from, I guess, all across Southern Ontario,
Cool.
Canada,
Mhm.
and yeah, near the millennium, some job offers to do voice-over work and voice acting work started coming to me because for some reason people thought that I was comfortable in front of a microphone, could read, I guess. And I tend to be the best listener I can be, the best communicator I can be, and imagine the imagination of other people, if I can put it that way. So I guess as far as voice work is concerned, that all ended up being an extension of a variety of things I had been doing before with stage acting, and then being in bands and a singer and a songwriter and a music producer and creating my own studio and it really all does sound bland when I start wording it like that.
Not at all. Not to us.
I mean,
However, the rare thing of the rare position of finally giving into what I felt was not just sort of a place in the world, but following my own instinct towards a career that I thought I could do well, maybe have it be a career, not just a sideline, not just something that would make my family raise their eyebrows a lot. That brought me everything else about life that I could never do without my wife, a wonderful, wonderful girl, wonderful daughters and extended family, and an overall lifestyle that I look back at the delays. Should I have gone to college? Should I have just gone right into music? all those aspects of, well, what do I know now? If I knew it then, well, obviously you can't go back in time.
You wouldn't be who you are now if you did.
Certainly not. Yeah, certainly not. And I think most people that are creative, they can break through that brick wall. What can I do? What will it bring back in return? Basically, the concept of, if you're ever going to have one particular personal regret about career and creativity, et cetera, fine, you might be the only one that ends up immediately suffering, as it were, if you decide not to get into doing something that you love with creativity. It is a personal tragedy. Hate to make it so heavy.
No.
I was just about to say, I love the way that you're dramatically reading this. This is great.
Right.
Have it on Post-it notes in front of my monitor. and yeah, fine, creativity and the arts and what have you. Maybe a lot of people don't appreciate everything that goes into it. That doesn't really matter to them. They just know if they like it. If they can draw some entertainment and distraction from the world, that's fine. That's what entertainment has been since, I don't know, what would have been the first entertainment? Guys banging on big hollow logs and making drum sounds. I don't know.
Rhythmic, yes.
Banging two rocks together. And so that balance of having a serious drive to get into something that frankly can be so frivolous as entertainment was always a bit of a balance and a challenge. Yeah, basically finally deciding I really have to try this or I'm going to regret it. And so opening up myself to some type of career, it's not just the biggest personal, I guess, push, develop myself as a professional, semi-professional, but also for the sake of personal growth and the love of the doing it, the love of the work.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That aspect of getting into something you love doing, particularly with creativity, and bring you so much more that you never could imagine, even though you're probably able to imagine everything because you're so creative.
Right.
If you don't take the dive and try to do something with your creativity and your imagination, you're more than likely hurting yourself more than anything else. And I'll be quiet for a second.
No,
it's fine.
like I said,
we're all nodding because we're like, yes, this is exactly what we feel like, and it's just that sort of thing of I must say it's nice to hear. How do I word this? Because we've all been sharing our roads to doing it and hearing how similar certain parts of your story is to quite a few of us. It's that thing of, yes, we're doing the right thing, I guess, in a weird way, and it's that. I mean, I'm tearing up a little bit because I'm there going, so if this is the road, and I can do this. This guy's done it. This means I can do it too, sort of thing. And just don't mind me.
I'm not alone.
Yeah.
I'm not alone. Because a lot of people, I think, feel that way, though.
There's certainly a variety of ways to look at it for whether you should or whether you shouldn't. But I guess diving into creativity and following a career path, or just doing something for the sake of loving it, well, if it doesn't have to do with shooting guns, how about we stop there? For the sake of creativity, yeah, again, maybe most people won't understand what went into it, what it meant to the creators, and what the creation process does for the creators. Maybe they just understand if they like it. And that's fine. That's a human condition. But if you say no to yourself, if you give into that, you don't understand what you're also saying no to.
Right.
Because you prevented yourself from being so open in following your own instinct, in following your own belief in what you can do. And a lot of those aspects aren't necessarily, very few of them are necessarily specific to creators.
Right.
Some of the most wonderful people I've ever met had the most, to me, well, frankly, repetitive and mundane jobs, as it were. They found their passion in what they were doing, whether it was making widgets or scraping dead animals off the road or whatever it is. They loved what they were doing, and they allowed themselves to be open to chase out after those dreams. And if it's important at all for humans to find a sense of peace, and who the heck really knows, saying no to yourself is the most damaging thing. The whole world could reject what you're doing. If you cave into the no and the negative right at the start, then yeah, you've closed yourself off from everything else. And I don't like that.
I'm guessing you've had a lot
Agreed.
of people just say no to you or something. You've had your fair share of people telling you not to do something, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, I think just in general, this line of business, you've got hundreds of people going for one role. Of course, you're going to see no often.
Yeah.
But at least
and
it's
that's
them
definitely,
telling you no, and you're still doing it. Otherwise, you blocking yourself and never giving yourself that chance. Love it.
Yeah. I think there's an interesting line there. I'm always fascinated to hear the opinions of other people about this topic. How much hearing no, or just running into roadblocks in general, how much does that make a person stand back and self-evaluate?
I think
Whether
it
it's
depends on the
say-
circumstances of the person in question.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah. And at what points? I guess to quite a certain degree. For example, I spent quite a few of my original years of performing on stage, whether it was musical theater or in bands, just very thankful that I found the work, and that I managed to avoid a lot of the pitfalls. I'll put it that way.
Right.
and keep my head about me to whatever degree I did. And
Because I think... Oh, no, ignore me.
I think my naivety about a variety of things just helped me plow through a lot of things, which was somewhat beneficial in that I got used to auditioning. I got used to having to go meet new people. I got used to looking for new projects. I got used to hearing from, say, for example, in 1 year, and this really blew my mind from a production point of view, 3 different acts came to me to produce their albums.
Oh, wow.
One was a barbershop quartet. One was a church choir of 17 people. The third was a gutter punk Christian band.
What a variation there.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure had any of them come to me, say, just 5 years before, I would have shaken my head and gone, well, I understand where to put microphones and possibly how to edit and mix and help you package the whole thing and what have you. Mm-hmm. As far as communicating with them, what?
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's definitely a certain animal.
Yeah, and so by plowing through and going for what I really believed in myself, the communication skills got polished, I guess, as best as they've ever been, and that has always benefited everything else from the get-go. Really, great communication skills, staying open, understanding when and where to say no. Because someday you're going to have to live with the work that you do.
Yes. Yeah.
And so the path and the process for other creatives, whether they're writers or producers or directors or actors or musicians, and to quite an obvious degree, painters and sculptors, and what's the process that they go through when they hit a roadblock, whether it's an accidentally personally applied roadblock, or when the world just says to them, no, you got to stop this either for now or maybe forever. So what's the procedure for them to go through that? How did they do it? I love hearing those opinions. Right. And at that, I want to hear from everybody.
Ooh.
Okay. Take a sip of water.
I want to say first, I love how you have answered pretty much every question I've had prepared for you for this interview within 15 minutes. So
okay.
This will be fun. Kudos to you.
Okay, that's the end of the podcast, guys.
Now, I guess for me, dealing with roadblocks is it's always been a challenge for me. I have talked about this before. You know, I struggle with high functioning anxiety and like depression issues. They've come a long way since I started, you know, trying to get into the entertainment industry with musicianship at first, or making short films for YouTube and such. And I didn't, when I was younger, at the very least, I didn't really self-reflect on what I could do to overcome certain obstacles. It was always just, I don't know what to do about this. I'll just give up and then try something different. And it fills me with a certain amount of regret that I didn't sit there and try to figure out a solution to it. But at the same time, it's part of the learning process. I mean, you don't really know how to fix the thing until you experience it and, you know, teach yourself or learn how to fix it. I've definitely
at the same time too, it's only under those circumstances that you get to learn about yourself.
True.
Learn how you can think in a different way, look at it from a different angle.
Yes, absolutely. And I know that especially within the last year or two, I've come such a long way in learning to stop. If I run into something, I stop myself and I try to figure out why this is happening and what I can do to overcome it. I know to this day I still struggle with imposter syndrome and just trying to learn how to deal with convincing myself that this is a worthwhile goal to chase. And it's just been such a struggle just to get to that point. But I think now I've gotten a lot better about it. As far as what I've done to get there, it's just a lot of deliberation and learning to be comfortable in my own skin and not care so much what other people might think, especially when you're working on something that nobody even knows about. For instance, this secret project rock opera that I've been working on, I have been sitting here, I was working on the first song, and when I first wrote it out, I was very happy with it. I was like, it's going somewhere. I'm very satisfied with the direction it's going. And then I listened to it probably about 10 more times, and I stopped myself and started thinking, wow, I kind of hate this and I don't want to do this anymore. But after a while, this little voice came in the back of my head that started saying, which is very new for me, started saying, don't give up, don't surrender yourself to these feelings, because nobody even knows what this sounds like, with the exception of my girlfriend, who absolutely loves it and has been like singing it whilst we're doing other things around the house. And so like it's a very unique feeling that I've never had to deal with before, so that really helps with the creation process. So anyways, yeah, so I just learned to start evaluating myself a little bit more and being more confident. There we go.
Before we move on to Renara, Burnham says in chat, there are the roadblocks in your head, the obstacles that are in real life. Then when both team up together, that's when trouble starts.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Ren, you want to go next?
I shall. I will attempt to not make this a Ren Rambles. No, I mean...
New segment idea. Ren Rambles.
And writing that down.
No, I mean, well, I know I've experienced roadblocks mostly from other people telling me I shouldn't do it, in the sense of when I was... Like, I've always loved acting, and I've had people in, like, the drama place I've been, like me doing it, telling me I'm not good enough for it, or I shouldn't be doing this, and I kind of listened to them a little bit, but it was that thing of like, this is still me. I hear what you're saying, but when it starts to hit you so many times, it kind of wears on you a little bit. So I went, if I can't do acting, I will go behind the camera instead. So I sort of found a different route, if that makes sense. It's like the boulder was in front of me, and it was too big for me to scale at that point, so I decided to make my way around it to start with, or try and find an alternate route that might take me around it, but I'm going to try it anyway and see what happens. And then after so many diversions up this mountain, which is the path of wanting to do acting, it kind of, you have, when there's so many after one after the other, you kind of just go, whatever, I'm just going to try and climb this. I don't care if I'm going to fall. I'm just going to try this now. And I think whenever I get a roadblock like that, I mean, recently I had another email of somebody saying, you're not good enough, you shouldn't have tried, or whatever, and things like that. And I'm there going, okay, I will just make my own thing then, or I will do something else. I will redirect my energy into something else that will give me some sort of proof of I've done this thing, if you know what I mean, for me, rather than I'm not thinking about the people like who's going to see these things at the end of it. I'm thinking about right now in this moment, what can I do? And I will then go, right, I can do this, I can do this. What's in my control? What's not in my control? I can't control not getting a role. I can control making my own audiobook of a book that I do enjoy. So I'm just sort of like, whatever roadblock hits my way, I will evaluate it, look at it, and that's for the external ones. For when you get the internal ones where you start feeling, I don't think I can do this, I don't think I can do this. Because I've had this recently with another voice type that they want me to do for Skywind, which is Orc. I am struggling to be able to find how they want it to sound. And I sat there going, is this for me? Can I really do it? And I just went, no, I am going to do it. This is an opportunity for growth. I'm going to at least try it. And then if after so many tries they choose, you know what, we're going to give it to someone, then that's their decision. It's not my decision at that point. I will have tried the best I can. I will have learnt in the process of doing it. And until it's taken out of my hands, I will take this and write it and go wrong with it. Mm-hmm. Don't voice clip that, Zamoody.
Noted.
39 minutes into the recording, I will not clip this.
Oops. Okay. But in regards to sort of those things, I'm lucky that I have a roommate who will call me out on my doubt, going, no, you are good. You've been doing this for 5 years already. Keep going. Don't listen to that. You are doubting yourself. And I think I'm lucky to have that. And I'm lucky to have these guys to also go, no, yeah, you should still keep doing this, sort of thing. But when it's external, I see what I can do, and if there is really nothing I can do, I then, where am I going to put my energy next? I don't dwell on it, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
Pash, you want to go?
No.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, Pashley.
Oh, no, I was just saying, like, I mean, my path just really speaks for itself.
Mhm.
And I kind of touched on this,
Yeah.
There was someone in my life who was a very important part of my life who did not see value in a career in music or any of that, or even doing it as a hobby.
Mhm.
It was always like, when I went to my church job, like, oh man, this is really just amazing that he's letting me go to my church job. Like, oh
sure.
boy, like all this bullshit. Cause like, he's in medicine and in the army, and just that's who he is. And it's for better, for worse. So I say, like, to keep that in your life and have like the right people around you as core people to advise. Because like I know me in particular, maybe because of my history and my kind of toxic relationship with my family, like I need people like to kind of keep me even keel. So I think as far as like not giving up in your friendships and your close relationships, just have those people who believe in you. No
Right.
matter what. That and that doesn't mean they go yay rah rah for every fucking thing you do. You need to have someone say, well, okay, but and they know how to communicate that with you.
Yeah, you need
that's
people
been
that are
key
going to
for
be
me.
honest overall.
Yeah, and that's part of like loving someone and being interested and invested in their growth is not being like, oh, I love you. It's you got to be able to say like, you can do this better, or,
Right.
without completely discouraging them and being like, well, it'd be better if you were a nurse or in medicine or you were this, because I'm rebuilding my life and my career right now. And within 2 years of leaving someone who was telling me to do other things, I am in a full-time position, $50,000 a year with benefits.
Nice.
Yeah.
Management. So it's, and that is with the help of, partially with the help of someone who believed in me and said like, oh, these are your skills, go do it, and other people, in the Twitch Things community, like Kaicho and Daz, and, they were like, oh, we'll do this. And just, you know what I mean? They're like so committed to me. So anyway, that was a Pashley rambles.
I should retract what I said that about people being honest. Like you should surround yourself with people that should focus on what you want to do and what makes you happy overall, with the side benefit of telling you kind of what they think about certain things, such as, say you have a project that you're working on that does make you happy, but you're a little uncertain about having someone tell you, okay, this sounds really good, but this isn't so great, and here's how you can improve. It's nice to have people around that you can rely on to help you a lot, like down the road with your artwork.
If you stay open to yourself, again, especially with creativity, and you listen too much to the people that say no, or are indifferent, sometimes that can be much worse.
Yeah.
And you give into that, you're avoiding meeting the people that otherwise would naturally surround you,
Right.
would support you.
Right.
And
No, I agree.
that I think is a byproduct of another issue about human condition. I don't know that a lot of actors, musicians, come to think of it, have either the tools to appreciate or take the time to appreciate, and that is understanding for them why they're doing what they do, why they're going after what they're driven to do. There's only saying this because I think I'm human. There's a really nasty part about human being, the aspect of being human, and that is we lose sight of our self-value if we put our creativity or drive to do something that we love out of proportion to real life. Yeah, as creative people, if you don't put some passion and put, quote unquote, you into your work, it's going to show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, in particular in
are-
the music business, like
Yeah,
in any top
exactly.
people don't want to see like Julie Andrews' version of Sound of Music in future Sound of Music production. It's like they want to see your spin on it.
Exactly.
So,
But we can all be at fault, particularly if we're generally naive about the world and or about ourselves, that everyone goes through a process of putting way too much of their own self-worth in their work.
we
Yeah.
talk about that a lot too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's a tough thing to face, let alone ever work on separating. You are not just your work, whether it's something you absolutely love doing, or it's just a job that your hand goes through a drive-through window 3,000 times a day. You are not just your work. So why are you doing what you do, and what is it giving you back? And again, if you stay positive and accept that about yourself and go after that, exercise it. I don't mean exorcise it. If you exercise that passion, your world will form around you. It will form around you and support you. People will understand and be drawn to you because of that. It's the old adage of if you love yourself, you'll get surrounded by people that love you too.
Right. No, absolutely.
That's so cheesy, but it works.
No,
I think it is. I'm not. I'm not trying to be on any kind of soapbox, but I have not seen one example of that being wrong.
No, it's very, very insightful. Again, thank you for answering all the questions that I had prepared. So I did want to quickly touch on a topic that Renara wanted to speak about, just because I think now would be a good opportunity, since we do have someone who has a boatload of experience under their belt, just to see how they would perceive this as well. So as I understand it, Renara, you had submitted an audition or a few auditions for a project, and the creator then sent his quote unquote feedback to you.
Yeah. Well, it was. I don't think I'm going to use this website anymore, because this is the third or fourth time I've received stuff like this from the creators on that site. So I'm probably not go. I'm going to just sort of like, it's not as blatant as the one we're going to read today, but it's been sort of like the same sort of thing of, or they either didn't give me feedback or they just gave me a version.
Right.
So I won't use it. But it was it was a paid role. I looked at it and went, oh, it's like a sorcerer, like magic user. I'm pretty good at those because I do a lot of voicing of that sort of thing. So I was like, oh, I'll give it a go and see how it goes. And who knows? And then he replied back saying, we've decided to go with someone else. And I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. Everything was going fine. And then I just asked, could you give me constructive criticism or some feedback? Like, constructive feedback was the line. Yes. And when I read this out to Grim got very upset with them.
Right.
Because of the way he just sort of think, shall I read it or do you want to? Because I might stop.
No, I can. No, and I'm kind of in the same boat. I was reading this prior to the show, and I was flabbergasted. So the feedback had said, we'll just say for character A, there were people with better voice / better acting. For character B, female, your audition was pretty good, but the apprentice, character B, was pretty easy to act, so there were several good candidates. We ended up choosing another candidate. To improve your auditions, you could at least run noise reduction on them. There was slight background noise, which is easy to remove with appropriate tools. Also, please keep in mind that we get something like 50 to 100 auditions for each female role, so it is quite difficult to be chosen. But if you keep improving your performance, maybe you will be chosen for some role in the future.
I would like to just also add that they didn't actually tell me in the actual, brief, that they wanted noise reduction. They didn't ask for it, so I did not get it.
Yes, and I know from experience that there are certain auditions that request that you don't do any editing. You simply you click record, you record your audition, you stop it, and then you send it. And that's pretty commonplace, I feel.
Yeah.
When you had asked for constructive criticism, I don't see any of this as constructive whatsoever. Saying that there's people with better voices or better acting, not helpful.
Unprofessional.
Yes.
Yeah,
To say that a role was easy to act is not professional at all, does not help. Saying that you could have run noise reduction, that doesn't help you get better. That simply says,
acting,
yeah, exactly. It says do this technically. Yes, anyone can do that with a few mouse clicks, that doesn't help you improve.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is pretty common with this website, as you had said, but
it's not as blunt, but it's the same vein.
Sure.
I love the way Burnham just put it in chat. Be better than other people. Doesn't help at all.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I mean, I've had that experience sort of with that one topic that I brought up a while ago about how someone said, you were spot on pretty much except for this one detail, and it didn't really make any sense, and it didn't overall help me improve, and it was kind of it made me feel downtrodden.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, all that stuff really doesn't help, and if this is something that continues to happen to you, Renara, I would say maybe steer away from whatever that is, because they're clearly accepting creators that don't really know how to direct a project, I would say.
Because it's that sort of thing that sort of got said to me, and having recently just like I shared all of that with you guys, and then literally I had this email come through the next day on Monday. Wow. So I had felt very vulnerable at that point, because I'd just done the whole intro and stuff, and I was like, the world is testing me right now. And I felt absolutely rubbish after receiving that. And it's that sort of thing that it's why I always say to fellow creators, keep going, don't listen, make more stuff, keep going, one foot in front of the other, because you're going to get people like this. And from my own experience, I have experienced a lot of this. So, and there's not enough people, at the very least, that don't say keep going, and a lot of people don't have those people around them to say keep going. Why I always say it on this podcast every time.
I think you pointed out something really important, Renara, earlier about the self-acceptance. You can't change everything.
Yeah.
You can't make everybody like you.
Nope.
So you're not going to fit every project, and you also can't teach someone how to communicate back to you very well.
Yeah.
They're already stuck in their ways about how they treat people. That was certainly, I think, nothing you instigated.
I just asked for constructive criticism. That's all I asked for.
You also could have caught someone in a bad mood. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You never
Exactly.
know. It's still unprofessional, but it could still be like laced with baggage from maybe they broke up with their girlfriend or boyfriend. I don't know.
Right.
Still unprofessional.
They might be creating their project because they want the attention, because they want to be the control freak. It's not about the work. It's not about the project for them.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, that might be one of the only ways you discover that that's the kind of person he or she is to audition and then get this WT. Oh, never mind.
No, yeah. This is totally a what the fuck type of, response.
Yeah, I agree.
I in all honesty, this because we said this when it comes to Eldurrino again. It's just it doesn't seem like they really could find anything in particular, so they just kind of went with the generic do better, kill your sound, do it better, and we get a ton. Sorry, we can't give you really good feedback. That's the way that I'm seeing this.
What strikes me the most about those types of responses is they seem to be at least implying that they are taking no responsibility about anything of the whole audition process. They might have missed, as you mentioned, Renara, about noise reduction. They might have missed specifying, I don't know, 48K 96 bit. There are so many things that they could have missed out on specifying And I didn't hear anything that suggested that they were holding themselves for anything responsible with that communication. It was all about you.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you know off the top, as soon as it's only about you, and the project is most likely only about them.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. And now you've said it that way, my brain goes, oh, yeah.
Could be.
No, again,
keep
very
trying and, yeah.
no, very insightful. You're such a fun guest to have around because, like, kind of just you're already saying everything that we've all been thinking, and it's fantastic.
I'm repeating. Oh man, I want to be original.
No. It's good because it for everyone who's watching and for everyone out there to hear someone with the amount of experience you have say something similar to what their experience is gives that validation of yes, this is you are thinking correctly sort of thing, and it's that one of us.
Yeah, it totally staves off.
I don't think there's anything off with admitting that if you keep at it, you're eventually going to meet up with a lot of, well, some people anyhow, that because of what the human condition is and because of what creativity is, you combine those things, they're bound to result in many people having the same experiences, or at least similar enough that those things can eventually get put aside. And now you have shorthand, and now you have great communications. When you get to work with those people, wow, those projects are amazing.
Oh yeah.
I like how Burnham just
absolutely.
in chat said,
You don't-
and
you
they
don't
also
really
could have
know
just
about-
said, it's really good, just not exactly what we needed.
That would have been nice.
Yeah.
Maybe
Maybe they don't know how to word it.
Yeah.
Maybe they
Maybe.
don't know how to word it.
I mean,
there's a
either way,
difference if you were to hear maybe too much information, let's talk about your pitch, because we could go on forever. Let's talk about your volume.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the graveliness that you talk with. Let's talk about your speed.
yeah.
Lacking those specifics, I think a lot of voice actors would understand. Think.
Right.
Maybe I'm just assuming too much.
No, I
No,
think
it's 100% true,
But those are-
especially with
those are-
such a
those
short
are technical
response.
specifications that if a communication is missing those, then maybe this person really ripping me a new one doesn't know how to word what they're thinking.
because I was expecting stuff to talk about, like maybe like, did I misinterpret the character? Was there a certain thing that they want, like specific? Because I read the blurb and then I'll go, right, this is what the character would think / feel whilst talking about this, and sometimes that can get misinterpreted, because I mean I've done my own casting calls for my own projects, and on occasion I'd rather work with an actor than just go, you're not, you nearly got it but not, if that makes sense. I don't know. I don't know. I do this because I like to learn about people, because I didn't understand people when I was small. So I learned
well,
about humans.
We are almost
Well.
out of time, but I did want to save the last couple minutes for something a little special and saddening at the same time. Jef, thank you so much for being here.
Appreciate it.
You've been a
Thank you
wonderful
very much
guest.
for having me.
Yay.
Pashley, I wanted to give the last couple minutes to you, as unfortunately this is the last episode that we will see you on. As I
Full-time.
understand, you're gonna.
I'm happy
You're gonna
to
be
come
getting-
back, but I can't
mean,
do
yes.
this full time.
Yeah.
We will absolutely reserve a spot for you. Anytime you want to host, anytime you want to do intros for us, anything you want, please.
Any like
let us know.
Brian!
Yes.
Yes, yes,
You are-
absolutely.
Ashley, you are ingrained into the legend of Cold Read now. You are the princess of
Right.
Cold Read, and thus that spot will always be there for you. So whenever
Thank
I will
you.
be calling upon you.
I'll be hitting you up for makeup advice.
Yeah, you
I'll
should.
get you down to
Speed
3
makeup
minutes or
advice.
less.
Yes.
That is mean.
Cash, it's honestly, it's been an honor. It's been a pleasure. You bring
Thank you,
so much
guys.
to the show.
Okay, right.
We hope we can leave you as in case we ever have any questions or anything comes up.
Absolutely.
But it's been an absolute honor having you, and thank you for
Thank
donating your
you.
time for it.
I'm trying to
Perhaps-
be a good person and be, like if I see an impending tidal wave coming, to be good to the people around me like this is happening, and maybe this might be too much. I'm trying to be better about this. Might be too much right now. That's all.
No, we get it.
Understandable.
My personal growth.
We'll have to
Look after
create more of a.
yourself.
We'll have to create more of a structure and somehow work in Pashley's castle, going forward. And yes, we will have an actual jingle for that at some point.
We've been threatening for it.
Yeah.
Jef, thank you so much again for being here, my friend. Absolute honor and pleasure to have you on and allow you to speak on everything that you have done throughout your life.
Well, I was just very flattered to be selected. That's for sure.
Of course.
Yeah.
Next week, I don't think we have anything special. I will be, I guess, taking the intro, and it'll be my turn to tell my story.
My gosh.
If I decide to do so.
Yeah.
Because mine's probably not as saddening as everyone else. So everyone's going to be like,
oh, nice.
That guy's fucking entitled. Get the hell out of here, So, but we'll see what happens. I mean, I'll try to make it exciting and worth listening to. How about that?
So just
No matter what you do, it will be great.
to close things off, if you have any topics, if you want us to that you want to talk about, ColdReadthePodcast@gmail.com. If you have any auditions that you want us to listen to, any demo reels, please go ahead and send them in. We actually give constructive criticism more than be better than the other people and Fix Your Damn Audio. Although Fix Your Damn Audio has been in there a couple of times. So guys, it's been an honor and a pleasure. Pashley, bon voyage, my friend. We will miss you.
You'll never really quite lose me.
No.
There's an STD joke in there somewhere, but
She'll just randomly show up, 5 minutes to live and be like, "Hey, can I be a part of the episode?"
Maybe.
Last minute Pashley. It's gonna be a thing.
Love all your faces. We're gonna end this. Thank you so much, everybody. Goodbye.
Bye. Drink water.
Bye.